So, enthusiasm is one of the greatest assets of men and women. Enthusiasm is as related to your positive mental attitude and your progress towards success as gasoline is to a car's engine. It's the fuel that keeps things moving. It is nothing less, no more than faith in action. You can control your enthusiasm so that it is constantly fed into the cylinders of your intellectual engine. There it will be ignited and exploded by the spark of your intended purpose. Then the pistons applied proactive propulsion. Because it can be expressed positively as well as negatively, by controlling your enthusiasm you can convert all negative experiences into positive ones. Enthusiasm is a great force within us that is perpetually prodding us to do our best. Enthusiasm is a power because it is the instrument by which adversities and failures and temporary defeat may be transmuted into action backed by faith. Thought is an expression of energy, and it is precisely as powerful when expressed in a negative form as it is expressed in a positive form. The energy of thought used to express the feeling of great sorrow or loss or disappointment can be transmuted into positive expressions and made to serve as an inspiration to noble endeavor.
So what are the benefits of enthusiasm? Enthusiasm is of major importance in transmuting negative emotion into positive emotion. It adds to the attractiveness of the personality. Controlled enthusiasm steps up the vibration of thought. Enthusiasm is the major factor which converts an order taker into a first-class salesperson. And enthusiasm is the action factor of thought. It definitely takes the drudgery out of labor. It aids in the maintenance of sound health. It gives the necessary force to one's desires and thereby influences the subconscious section of the mind to act with promptness and those desires. It generates enthusiasm on the part of others. It gives a pleasing, convincing color to the tone of the voice. And it inspires self-confidence. But be careful.
Enthusiasm is power. With faith it can bring about misfortune, failure and defeat. The transformation depends on your control over your thoughts. As I said, enthusiasm is like gasoline. When used correctly it can do great things happen. But if you carelessly scatter them, you also run the risk of it. A disaster is coming!
The dangers of an uncontrolled enthusiasm. One danger is that your enthusiasm will lead you to talk to others, but always speak alone. If you don't do anything but talk about yourself, the other will stop listening and all valuable words will be forgotten. And they will refuse help or advice if you seek it. Do you like boredom? You also need to make sure that your enthusiasm doesn't tarnish your judgment. Do not reveal your plan to your competitors because you think it's so good. If you can see it's worse, others will see it too. The dangers of uncontrolled enthusiasm. And don't rush if your plans call for resources for your particular purpose or circumstances that have not yet materialized. No distraction from the enthusiasm for gambling or betting. If you put all your enthusiasm on these things, you will have nothing left for your definitive primary purpose, and soon you won't have the resources for your distraction either. How to develop a controlled enthusiasm. Here are the steps to spark your enthusiasm. Get on the way and pursue a specific main purpose. Write a clear statement about this purpose and your plan for achieving this goal. Include a statement of what you are getting in return for intent to achieve this goal. Support your goal with a burning desire. Ignite this burning desires. Let it guide you. Let him become the dominant one thought in your head. Get to work right away and carry out your plan. Follow your plan closely and persistently. If you are caught out in failure, study your plan carefully and change it if necessary. Don't change it just because you have suffered defeat to have.
Influences that discourage enthusiasm are as follows: poverty, physical illness, failure in business, disappointment in affairs of the heart, family disputes, lack of education, lack of opportunity, unfriendly criticism, old age, worry, doubt and fear, a negative mental attitude. Enthusiasm is an expression of hope, faith, belief, and the will to win, expressed through definiteness of purpose. Enthusiasm can be developed through action appropriate to its nature, but it cannot be developed by mere wishing or daydreaming. There must be action behind it.
Methods to increase enthusiasm.
If you think that your enthusiasm needs work, that it hasn't been growing apace with your progress on the other principles, you can stimulate it with some simple exercises. To be enthusiastic, act enthusiastically. Does this advice seem redundant? It isn't. If you enter a meeting with your enthusiasm low, ignore it.
Shake hands confidently. And answer questions definitely. Emphasize the value of your ideas and proposals. Ideally, excitement does these things automatically. But when you do consciously following instructions, you will see their positive results. This stirs to the fires of enthusiasm. Keep an enthusiasm record. When your enthusiasm is high, write it down in a notebook. Write down the circumstances that inspired you and the manifestations of that enthusiasm.
Have you been encouraged to act? Did you solve a problem? Have you persuaded someone for something? Also, keep a written copy of your definitive primary purpose. Keep your plan to achieve this in your notebook. Then, when your enthusiasm wears off, take your precious book in the hand. Not only will it remind you of the reason you should be amazed, but also of the advantages of this enthusiasm.
The enthusiasm is a spiral that is turned inwards or outwards, rising or falling. The enthusiasm develops as a habit, and the habits need to be strengthened to give your enthusiasm a boost in the right one direction. Enthusiasm and the Mastermind Alliance. One of the most important places your enthusiasm will work is in your Mastermind Alliance. If you share your enthusiasm with the other members, you will increase their enthusiasm. These in turn can fuel your enthusiasm and support. Sometimes all members benefit equally from this process, but it's a lot more likely that you, as the leader, will benefit the most. Increased enthusiasm in your alliance will also mean increased trust. With this additional confidence will be more insight into the infinite intelligence, and this creates more creativity. Initiative, enthusiasm, and the will to win is the right combination. You will continue to move towards your particular primary purpose when you are surrounded by others who provide you with help and encouragement. While when working alone, you tend to slow down, get discouraged, and stop.
Enthusiasm changes life. Steamers and trains don't grow out of the ground and don't run by themselves. They are the answer to the call of civilization, come about through the work and the ingenuity and organizational skills of people with imagination, faith, enthusiasm, determination, and perseverance. They are motivated by the desire to build, construct, create, provide useful service, make a profit, and get rich. And so the change opens up for them to become rich themselves. Without enthusiasm, you will not convince anyone. Enthusiasm is also contagious, and those who bring it with you in moderation are genuinely well received by others.
As a German, I don't need to look far to find a good historical example of what enthusiasm can do. For 41 years, Germany was divided as a country with a great thick wall. The people in the former GDR were not free. They were not allowed to travel as they wanted, to consume as they wanted, to live and to work as they wanted. They also had to be very careful what they said, as they were always checked. After the years, a very strong need for freedom grew within them. They were enthusiastic about the idea of finally being able to live a life like in the West. The belief, the hope, and the conviction that they can make it together grew bigger and bigger. They went out into the street, always more. The pressure on politics grew. The unrestrained enthusiasm had developed a tremendous force. The people caused the wall to fall, and soon afterwards, in 1990, the reunification of Germany followed.
So we've heard enthusiasm is nothing less and nothing more than belief in action. To get excited about achieving a desirable goal, you should keep an eye on your goal every day. The more desirable your goals are, the more committed and more enthusiastic you will become. Understand that William James said and act on it. The emotions are not always immediately subject to reason. However, they are always directly subject to action. Real enthusiasm comes from within. Enthusiasm is like water to fetch as well. You first must prime the pump. But yes, soon the water flows and flows. Get excited about everything you know or do. Enthusiasm can come naturally from thoughts, feelings, and a person's emotions arise. But more importantly, they can be generated at will.
Napoleon Hill once said, "The more enthusiasm you send out into the world, the better you prepare to achieve exactly what you want."